Hello there guys and welcome. It's Niran here and today it is time for FIFA 14 Aston Villa career mode. This is episode 25. This will be the penultimate episode of the season here in season 1 of this career mode. In this episode we will be playing Hull City at home in fact, and we will be playing Southampton away, I think. Possibly at home, I don't know. It's a 50-50 chance. I've chosen both of them, so I'm bound to get it right. But yeah, we'll be playing Southampton nevertheless. In the next episode, we'll be finishing off the Premier League season against Tottenham, and we will be playing in the final of the FA Cup. If I sound really nasally, I apologise. I've got a really bad cold, unfortunately, and it's not a great time, really, to get a cold during the exams. That is why, basically, videos have been every 3 days recently, rather than the usual 2. This has been 3 days since the last video. And I do apologise. That wasn't even close to a word, but I do apologise. As I offer a youth player a contract, finally, Stuart Dwyer, the first youth player I've been able to offer a contract to, a 3-year contract. We'll see whether he gets back to us, and whether he accepts or rejects it in a moment. But still, yeah, I've got a lot of exams at the moment as well, so I'm having to balance that. Unfortunately, if I want to carry on doing YouTube, I've got to do well in my grades, in my exams as well. So I've got to really revise for those mocks. But then next week I've got a week off, so I can literally do any video I want to. Next week I might do videos even. I'll do every video every other day. Nevertheless, the first game of this episode is against Hull. It's on World Class, obviously, and it's raining, which is going to be useless. But I decided, with 4th place safe, to put a few new faces onto the pitch. In terms of players who might not play regularly as such. The rest of the team is the same, but Gary Gardner is in the centre of midfield, and Mark Albrighton, I think, is possibly making his first start of the season. Now, I wanted to sell him. I wanted to sell him in all the transfer windows we've had so far, and I didn't know whether that would be justified. I wanted to see whether it would be, but nevertheless, Albrighton actually setting up the first chance of the game for Fabian Delph, but a good save there from Alan McGregor in the Hull City goal, and that would prove to be a theme of the game, because then he provides a great save from Craig Gardner's shot from long range. Matthew Lowton, though, winning the ball back, and Benteke with a belter of a strike, and yet again the one-hand save from Alan McGregor. Into the box comes the header. This time McGregor's beaten, but it bounces off the inside of the post on the line and is cleared away only as far as Vla. He gives it to Albrighton, who cuts back inside, and he unleashes a curling strike, but it is wide and not challenging the Scotsman in the Hull City goal. But towards the end of the first half, and I'm not entirely sure how we're not leading, and Marco Van Ginkel probably isn't either after that great save again from Alan McGregor. McGregor is basically OP, as is every AI goalkeeper on this game when you're not using them. And of course, El Mohammadi was set through without Zila making a single save in the entire game so far, despite McGregor's 6. El Mohammadi scored and made it 1-0 after 9 shots and 5 on target for us in the first half. This was Hull's first and in fact only shot of the game, the only one on target, and they scored because Zila basically didn't try. As you can see, maybe there's a hint of me being a little bit annoyed, but this is kind of becoming a recurring theme in FIFA. And I don't know how that wasn't a goal either, but a great save again from McGregor. Somehow that was deemed as a foul against us. I'm not entirely sure how. But Benteke was set through, but then McGregor with one mistake. Benteke set in, he's got an open goal, and McGregor becomes Superman. But at least it's got to be a corner. At least it's... Oh, you know what? F*** this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it ended. Aston Villa 0, Hull 1. I threw my controller about, as you can see, by disconnecting. We had 13 shots on goal, 9 on target, 55% possession to Hull's 1 shot on target, and 1 goal. Just explain that to me. You see, this game really just made me not want to play FIFA anymore. Our best player, I think, just looking at that, was Van Ginkel, actually, by far. Lowton also getting a good rating, as well as Vlad, to say we lost. Benteke and Klein doing alright as well. But it really didn't make me want to continue playing this game. And it is really, I don't think you should make a game that shouldn't want you to continue playing this game. Like, if I go and play Formula 1, I'm not gonna not want to play it after, unless something serious happens, but it doesn't happen on a regular basis. Every time you put FIFA in, every time you play on FIFA, you don't want to play it after. It's weirdly addictive, but I think the problem is, I think EA have just made it too realistic. They're trying to make it too realistic. The great example of that is the first touch control. Why? Why do you have that? There's no point apart from to annoy me when my player lumps the ball at the other end of the pitch when it's just a simple touch. It does not happen that much in real life. Anyway, also it's scripted. Also it's scripted because I've only ever had one game in the whole history of FIFA where I should have lost due to similar to what just happened, where I had no shots, hardly, or less shots than the AI, and won. Yeah, basically every time I lose a game on FIFA, that's the case. But nevertheless, now that I've had a rant, and now that I've had a look at the scout reports, as you guys will have seen it in the background, I think from Portugal, the latter one, and the first one was from Italy, two of the places where I've got scouts at the moment. I also sent one out to Poland, but that's probably not going to get me anything. But nevertheless, I'd learned my lessons from the first game, because part of it was me being a little bit ambitious and playing some players who don't usually play, and there's probably a reason for that. So I went all out and just went for my usual, okay, this is my most comfortable team. Now this is going to come up in a moment. I actually forgot to put it in originally, so I've had to edit it back in. But the squad will come back in. As you can see, Shea Given will be starting in goal instead of Ron Robert-Zieler. They're Lowton at the back, Akore, Vlar, Klein, Meyer as well in midfield, with Bruma and Bakkali as the wingers. Then Benteke up front, but a great ball there, and Bruma unable to make it onto the end of it. I think it was Benteke actually with the ball, but Benteke played in this time a moment after, and Bruma then sets away a good bit of composure, a good comeback, but a good save from Julio Cesar, but he could not save what came from the corner, from the inevitable corner. Julio Cesar actually in goal for Southampton. It must have signed him. Ron Vlar with a brilliant header, getting above Dejan Lovren, and I was very happy. After that last game, we'd finally got a goal that we deserved in the episode, and we were leading 1-0. Going into the second half, and a similar thing from a corner. Christian Benteke this time forcing a great save from Julio Cesar, but then Southampton going forward. In the 60th minute, Ramirez putting the ball in towards the dangerous Lambert, and he hit the post. Given didn't even move. He didn't make the save, though, from the second shot. But this was a warning. This was a warning that Southampton, an hour into their game, had decided to turn up. Unfortunately, it did lead to an injury for Ricky Lambert, and Mayuka ended up coming on to replace him for Southampton. But look at this move. Lowton to Akore, probably, then Meyer, then Benteke. He plays it to Van Ginkel. Nice 1-2 between him and Bruma, and then he plays it into Meyer. What a move that was, all the way up the pitch. But a magnificent save there from Julio Cesar, just preventing Max Meyer from getting his first goal. But Marco Van Ginkel gives the ball away. Davis there with the ball, and Van Ginkel just completely miskicks it, and Morgan Schneiderlin scores to make it 1-1. At this point, we're guaranteed Champions League, so we can't drop a position, despite this bad form, but, it's a little bit annoying. But, I'd take a point. I'll take a point at this point. Wanyama gives it to Cook, however, flings it to the back post, and somehow Lallana scores from there. Now, there's all kinds of BS involved in this goal. Firstly, how, I think, was it Davis? Stephen Davis? No. Yeah, probably. Let's just say for the sake of argument that was Stephen Davis. How did he play that ball first time, and how did Lallana score from that angle? Of all players, Adam Lallana, he's probably the smallest player on Southampton's team. And Shea Given is just as bad as Zieler. Just as bad as Zieler. Ah, man, it just frustrates me. It just frustrates me hugely. Because going into the last 5 minutes of this game, well, okay, 7 minutes of this game, we were 1-0 up. And we've lost. We've deserved 3 points out of both games, and we've lost both of them. Well, here are the ratings anyway. Given getting a good rating despite that awful bit of goalkeeping towards the end, I suppose. Benteke there with a 7.2 as well. Vlar getting a good rating as well as Van Ginkel. But look at Akore. Look at Joris Akore. That pretty much sums that one up there with a 4.7. That pretty much sums up his performance, unfortunately. But I suppose every cloud has a silver lining. This one isn't very shiny, but nevertheless, it's Stuart Dwyer did in fact accept that youth contract, and this is him. He's got relatively good dribbling, decent amount of pace, I suppose you could say. He's English, can play as a left winger, right winger, and an attacking mid. He's got 3-star weak foot and 3-star skill moves, and he's 16 years of age. He's also left-footed with low defensive and medium attacking work rate, so it looks like a pretty decent player there. 63 stat when the game starts and 16, so he's probably got a potential of around about low 80s, I would say, which is a pretty decent player for now. As you could see a moment ago, I decided to reject the Australian FA job just to rub salt into the wounds giving me a job offer like that. No offence to Australia, but I don't really want to take that job. Nevertheless, I got another scout report back from Italy there. Ezekiel Criglio or something there from Hellas Verona looking quite good, as well as Alan Stefanovic there from Palermo, although he's on loan from Torino, I think, possibly? No. Yes, Torino, something like that. Anyway, here's the table at the end of the episode, and what a shocker of an episode it was. We stay on 73 points, what we started the episode on. Chelsea lead their way, with everyone still only playing one game left in this season. Liverpool are second at the moment, in front of Manchester United. We find ourselves in 4th now, only 4 points in front of Spurs. Manchester City in 6th, Arsenal 7th ahead of Everton, Newcastle and Fulham rounding out the top 10. Down at the bottom, Hull are out of it after that win against us, so I suppose we've done someone a favour. But nevertheless, Crystal Palace, Norwich and Cardiff in the relegation zone. Cardiff are down, but Sunderland, Crystal Palace and Norwich are definitely in a relegation battle, with Sunderland only a point in front of the 2 behind. Nevertheless, it's been an extremely infuriating episode. Extremely. Don't know how we didn't win that whole game. I suppose it just wasn't clinical. Partly my fault. Partly McGregor just being God. And then the Southampton game being 1-0 up and yet again throwing away points in the last few minutes. Although I suppose we've won quite a few in the last few minutes as well this season. But nevertheless, like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Comment about enjoying it if you enjoyed it that much. Please do that. That would cheer me up a lot. And I hope you have a good day. Enjoy yourselves and goodbye.